Welcome, everybody, to day 11 of LOVEStream. Thank you so much for joining us. I have here with me my dear friend, Dr. Elena Skyhawk. Hey, Elena. As you can hear, she is in the great outdoors on the road, on a road trip, calling in to be a part of this special last day of LOVEStream, and we are so grateful she was able to do that. So we are praying that the angels keep this broadcast going strong because we got snow here. It knocked out the power for a while. So all kinds of fun things are happening, which really is kind of par for the course for what we've been going through. So before we go further, I just want to tell you a little more about Dr. Skyhawk, and then we will jump into our conversation. So, Dr. Elena Skyhawk is a luminous soul whose life is a sacred dance between the seen and the unseen. A gifted animal communicator, shamanic healer, and author, she weaves ancient wisdom with intuitive mastery to guide others on their journey of deep healing and soul remembrance. From a tender age, Elena spoke the silent language of animals and spirit, forging bonds that transcended the physical world. Those early enchanted encounters opened the gateway to a lifelong path of service to spirit and earth. Now, with decades of experience walking between the worlds, she carries the medicine of compassion, courage, and clarity, helping others awaken their gifts and reclaim their power. Whether you're seeking healing guidance or a deeper connection to the sacred, Dr. Elena is a wise, nurturing guide, a true soul whisperer, ready to guide you on your path to awakening. Welcome, Dr. Elena.
Thank you.
Welcome.
It's a little windy here, but we're sitting outside actually in a Buffalo Park in Flagstaff, Arizona.
Fabulous. So besides windy, what else is going on there? Are you getting sunshine?
No, the cloud cover is coming in. I had beautiful sunshine yesterday, beautiful skies, but here it seems to be a little more cloudy, and of course we're at higher elevation. I forgot which direction it is. I think it's over there, Humphreys Peak. I noticed when I was walking around earlier, it still has snow on it up on the peak. So I was like, I'm glad I'm not going up there.
So tell our audience what you were doing on this road trip.
Well, it originally was supposed to be, I left Oklahoma when my lease ended, and I had planned to go back to Albuquerque because that's where all my stuff is in storage, because last year I was going to move there. And then, of course, I ended up with valley fever and I couldn't stay there either. So I went on a road trip last year. And originally I was supposed to just kind of like go switch some things out of, storage, put some stuff in, get some more stuff out. And I ended up staying in the Albuquerque area a little bit longer than I had planned to, because I ended up being able to meet for the very first time in my life one of my half sisters on my birth mother's side, and which was interesting to say the least. And now I know I definitely take after the father's side of the family. So, but at least I did get to meet her, and we talked and didn't really get a whole lot of information.
What's the matter? I hear you.
Sorry about that. I forgot to put it. Oh, no, the phone started ringing. I was like,
oh, okay.
I was like, I forgot to put it on Do Not Disturb. Then I ended up at the eye doctor, which was not exactly good news. But I was like, Spirit said, stick with the original plan, which was to, once I switched things out, was to go to the White Mountains here in Arizona and go camping. Well, I got there a couple days ago, and it turned out no cell service, couldn't get a hold of the internet, nothing. And I was like, okay, we can't stay here because I need access for my On the Road Again, because I'm doing a video series on my YouTube channel, a playlist of On the Road Again. So I'm taking people through these journeys that I'm going on when I go hiking or whatever. and talking about the area, showing the area, and then letting people know really what's out there, the beautiful scenery, the energy. Actually, somebody commented on one of the videos the other day, like, you need to do a reading back at that El Malpays. And I was like, well, that might be a while, because I'm not sure if I'm going to ever go back there, because it was way out of the way. But it's just doing different things so that people can see how sacred this land is, and the different energies in different states. From here, when I leave, I'm probably going to go to Arizona. And it is similar to what we had up in Rapid City, where technically the people stay in the cars and the animals are loose. So they wander all over the place, and they have bears and buffalo. And so that's the plan for like this afternoon. But I'm also have my cat with me. Bearheart is doing the traveling with me, and he's been pretty much hiding and sleeping until we got up here to the Flagstaff area. Now all of a sudden he's woken up and he's like all over the place, wants to come out and play, which I think is interesting, because animals, again, tell a story. Energetically, they feel where's a good place to be and where's not a good place to be. So even if we can't tell ourselves, like, oh, this is something we need to stay away from, the animals can tell. So I've been watching his reaction as we stop at all these different places.
And he knows you're looking for a new home, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's awesome. His input.
Well, he's very invested in it because he wants a playmate. And I told him I was not going to get a playmate for him until we found a permanent place to stay. So now that we're back here, he's woken up and he's like, ooh, let's check this out. Ooh, let's check that out. So that's why I'm paying attention to him, because he has a vested interest in finding the right place for us to live.
Yeah. And for people who don't understand what all this is about, and they're stationary, they don't even think about this, you all of your life have been getting guidance from Spirit about where you need to be to do your healing work. So could you tell us a little about that?
Well, I do, and I've learned the hard way, because a lot of times Spirit would say, well, you need to go to, like last year, you need to go to Albuquerque. Well, I always, sometimes, okay, always pretty much, misinterpret that, because when they say you need to go somewhere, I think, oh, I have to pack up and move and go there. And then they are like, well, why did you do that? Because we just wanted you here to do something, to visit something, to see somebody, and you could have gone right back home. And I'm like, well, couldn't you have told me that sooner? So I've kind of learned the hard way that when Spirit sends you somewhere, it might not necessarily be to live. It just might be, and your energy is needed in that part of the state or country. I'm hearing a bunch of...
I hear it a little bit. I'll see if I can change a setting and get rid of it. We might not be able to, but we'll try.
Okay.
Okay. See if that's better.
So I've learned that they might not necessarily mean you need to keep moving all the time, but we want you to get in your car and go and visit these places. But yet at the same time, I still need an affordable place to live, so that I can continue doing what Spirit asks me to do. Because usually when they send me somewhere, it's to do a ceremony or to put prayers out for that particular area. Sometimes I can do it long distance. I don't actually need to physically travel there. It just seems to be more powerful when I do it physically and actually go to the locations that they're suggesting I go to.
Yeah, and you're doing all of this out of your own pocket.
Yes.
So you are self-funding the healing work for the planet that you do, which is tremendous.
Yep.
Why don't you tell the listeners about the group that you have, where volunteers can join with you to put the pillars of light around that are protecting us?
Well, this is something that I work. I am one of the 5-star generals in Archangel Michael's Legions and Warriors, and he put me on a project last year to help remove stuck souls. And then in January, he changed it, and because of what was going on with the who became president and what they knew on the other side, what was going to happen and what was coming, that we needed even more love down on this planet in order to create what they keep telling us and showing us is actually going to happen. So he said, you need to start making the pillars of light and putting them all around the world. And he had me originally inscribe love, truth, and justice on them. And I think it was through one of the times we talked or whatever, we put it out there that I needed help because it's a lot of work. You know, even though you're doing it energetically, it's still a lot of work that you have to go into meditation and sit there and, okay, who needs pillars? How many? Because he would always give me a very specific number. And then he would give me a list of, okay, you need to put one here, 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 here. And I'm like, oh my God. So I finally got some ladies to join. I have 3 regular ones that show up all the time. And after a month or so, maybe a month and a half, Michael was like, we need to add another word. And I had been picking that up as well, but I didn't know what the other word was. So one of the ladies in the group, she goes, I know what it is. It's unity. So then when we started putting the pillars down, we had inscribed love, truth, justice, and unity. And then we saw even more chaos erupting because as we're clearing the dark energies off the planet, it does create chaos. But you have to make sure you don't go into the fear mode because we're clearing the darkness off so that more light can be here. And then last week, during our last meeting, I had heard Michael had said a 5th term phrase needed to be put on the pillars. And I was like, what? I'm like, is there room for that? I mean, these pillars go in the ground at Mother Earth and they go all the way up. So of course there's room, but I was like, and he said, yes, because the 4, you know, you start with spirit and with the 3, and then it moved to 4 with the, you know, starting to bring balance back. And you're seeing it starting to happen where people are starting to rise up. They're starting to say, hey, this is not okay. You do not have the right to treat us this way. We are human, you know, we all matter, which we do. And he said, so that's what the 4 was helping to do, was start to bring balance back onto the planet. And he goes, now it's time for the change to happen. So that's what the 5s are all about, on inscribing. And each one of us had to go into meditation and get our own phrase that would go on the pillars that we were putting down. And I was like, okay, this is going to be fun. How are we going to do this? And then I woke up a couple nights ago, actually saying the phrase. And I was like, whoa, cool. So the phrase that is going on my pillars that I'm putting up is, from the light within me, I join the light with humanity to spread peace and healing on Mother Earth.
Beautiful.
And then each of the other ladies will have, I know one of the ladies put hers in, you know, emailed it to us last night. I don't remember what it said, and you know, it's not for me to disclose hers, but
so each of the people in the group are putting their own special phrase on their pillars.
On their pillars.
Cool. So for all the people listening, if you want to get involved in helping Dr. Elena install those pillars for peace, love, and healing, her YouTube channel is pinned at the top. You can connect with her through her YouTube channel. She has regular gatherings where she's teaching you how to do this work, and you can participate. And what better calling is there like that?
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but I actually have fun because especially depending on where the pillars, when he tells me where I get to put some of them, I'm like, ooh, yes. Because it's like, because even though it's needed, and because they're pillars of love and they come with that light from spirit, there is no harm, because that's the one thing as light workers and warriors of light, it's always first and foremost that you never do harm to anything or anybody. So when you're putting pillars of light down, they are full of love from spirit.
Beautiful. So needed. And it aligns so beautifully with what we're doing here on LoveStream, which is why I wanted you to be the one to bring it to a close on day 11.
Yeah. And it's so cool that I actually have internet access. I'm
sitting so glad about that.
How funny of that they manage that, in Buffalo Park of all places, which of course the buffalo is one of my main totems. So I thought that was appropriate. I'm like, cool, you send me to Buffalo Park for this. Okay.
Yeah. You can't see them, but they're actually buffalo behind me. Well, you can't see them with the chair, but there's some buffalo back there too for you.
Ah, okay. I'll have to look when I can actually.
Yeah.
It's so light out here with the
sun
clouds.
The sun. So for those of you who don't know, Dr. Elena, I have the jaguar, which is one of her totem animals, right? The jaguar, your spirit animal. And this is the medicine wheel. It's a really beautiful cosmic version of the medicine wheel. And the plains with the buffalo back there. So I think we're going to ask Archangel Michael, can you kind of take the wind down a little bit so that we can hear Dr. Elena? We would appreciate that. Please and thank you. So before I deliver Metatron's message, is there anything else you wanted to conclude with on that conversation?
It's just that one of the things that my guides and the archangels and the ascended masters want everybody to know is to stay in that love energy. Because if you go down to the energy of fear, you can't have love and fear at the same time. And if you get fearful about what you're seeing and listening to, which most of it is garbage anyway, it's going to drop you down into the same energy that we're trying to remove off the planet. So when you come from a space of knowing you're protected, knowing you are loved, that everything really is okay, even if we can't see it with our physical eyes, on a soul level, we know we have already won the battle.
Yeah.
And that's what Michael keeps in with me. It's like, just continue holding the light, holding the light. You have brought up so much garbage with these pillars. We now, and he literally said, he goes, now it's time for the garbage collectors to come in and collect the garbage and get it off the planet. And I just started cracking up. I'm like, literally, you're calling them garbage collectors? And he goes, yeah, that's what they are. So they're human souls. I mean, they're people here. And I actually met one of them. And she actually, we were talking during a coffee thing we had a couple weeks ago. She goes, oh my God, I'm one of the garbage collectors. And I was like, seriously? That Michael? But that's exactly what they call them on the other side. And those that are part of the garbage collection team, that's who they are. And that's what they're here to do. So my team is here to hold the light, put the pillars down, and create the eruptions needed to clear out the garbage, and then they come in and clean it out.
You know, that's what the vultures do. They perform a wonderful service for the earth. So, yeah, it's important.
Yep.
That is very cool. And she knew she was a garbage collector.
Yeah, she did.
That is so funny. Yes. Welcome to all the new people popping in. We got Barbie, Phyllis, Louise. Louise says, I have a pillar of light emanating from the home and property, which is providing great benefit to all in the area region.
Good.
Welcome, Barbie. All right. So, Michael, while I'm delivering Metatron's message, if you could work on that wind, just raise it up. We would appreciate it. Okay. So I'm going to deliver Metatron's message. Then we're going to come back and you're going to share the goodies you have for us today. And then we'll wrap everything up with the special message at the end. So I'm going to mute you just to keep the wind noise down while I do the message.
Okay.
All right. So for today, Metatron begins. What a marvelous event this has been. We are delighted at how you have all shown up on behalf of yourselves, humanity, and Gaia. Without a doubt, we can assure you your efforts have been consequential. The energy has already shifted and will continue shifting for some time as the reverberations continue flowing across the planet. Many seeds were planted that will bear fruit. Many souls felt the beckoning call of their angels to step up, to fulfill the higher purpose for which they came. Still others felt a stirring deep inside, not yet understanding what it means, but it's a beginning of their opportunity to join the lightworker community, all working towards common purpose for the good of humanity and the planet, not to exclude the creatures, because life includes all life on the planet. In the days to come, please share this experience with those who missed it. That way we can keep the positive ripples flowing. Imagine how wonderful it would be if, due to your efforts in the aftermath, ripples of love light rounded the planet multiple times. It could happen with a little extra effort. Please share freely wherever you feel led to do so. Share the love. Infect the world with the positive love light infection and a desire for more. We hope you'll stay to the very end of the finale to soak up every juicy morsel coming your way. On days when you feel a little low and need an extra boost, come back and review your favorite parts of LOVEStream. That's the beauty of the replay, allowing you to return and soak up every last delicious drop. Our gratitude to each of the guest presenters and to all who have watched live or the replays. Your energy and intention are making deep inroads towards awakening those who have been mesmerized, unable to see. They've been following a modern-day Pied Piper right off the cliff. You've opened the door for them to notice before they tumble over. There's still hope they may awaken before being lost to oblivion. Send divine love light as often and to whomever you choose. Asking your angels to help you amplify the signal for good measure is always wise. Never hesitate to ask for that sort of help or any sort of help. If it's something they're not allowed to do, then they won't do it. No worries on that account. They'll let you know, but you'll find there is a great deal they can help you with that it maybe never occurred to you to ask about. If you can dream it, you can ask about it. Look for the delicious golden nuggets, the breadcrumbs spread by your angels to guide you towards your highest purpose and fulfillment. Shine like a beacon as you live your purpose and share the love light. You will be doubly blessed for the doing. When you give from a heart of love and positive intention, bushels of positive energy will boomerang back on you, blessing you to ever higher levels. Once again, we must say it is really quite simple. Often what we ask of you is really quite simple because the laws of the universe are quite simple. Learn them and follow them. They will help you stay on track to reach a higher level of fulfillment sooner. Things will be heating up in the world the rest of this month. Our hope is that we provided you a strong foundation upon which to stand as you weather the storms that approach. We encourage you remain alert and on your toes. Watch for signs that we will send should you need to evacuate. There's a great amount of energy in flux at the moment. Stand your ground unless and until we alert you to evacuate. Pay attention to your four-leggeds if you have them, because they may also alert you to impending danger. The coming weeks may feel like you're standing on a fault line with one foot on either side of the crack. A precarious position, to be sure. However, seen from a higher perspective, it's a defensive position that allows you to jump left or right depending on where the threat comes from and move to safety. So in this instance, even though it may feel off-putting and nerve-wracking, it's purposeful, it's safe, and we are with you, ready to guide you in the most optimal direction, should that be necessary. Be alert and on your guard for threats that may be posed by two-leggeds. The angry, warlike energy is on the rise, which you've probably felt. You need not fear or go into hiding. Be diligent in your connection with your guides and angels, just like with the fault line, so that they may guide you to move quickly out of range of the threat, should one come your way. And we do not share this with you to frighten you, rather to help you remember that in these uncertain, chaotic times, it's vital that you remain alert, ready to spring into action on very short notice. We are sorry to have to deliver this message. However, out of a preponderance of caution, we feel the need to remind you that you have not moved past the dark forces lurking around the corners. You have not yet defeated them. You will one day, hopefully soon. But in the meantime, caution, alert, preparedness are all important. And beware of wolves in sheep's clothing, because they will pull out every trick in the book to fool you and lead you astray. Stay connected to your angels. Feel your way through choices with your inner compass. When in doubt, ask your angels. You may also ask your fellow lightworkers. Now is the time to reach out. Be connected with your community. Lean on one another so that all may safely come out the other side. Dear lightworkers, as you move forward in love and light, remember the possibilities for your life experience have expanded greatly since the last time you made this trip. Don't hold back. When you know what you want, grab your angel's hands and go for it with gusto and exuberance. Create the brilliant, exciting life of your dreams. No settling for you, brilliant soul. You came to shine, 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 and now is the time. Do not hesitate to avail yourself of the help on either side of the veil. Ask for what you need, and it will be given. Let us do this together. Onward to Earthtopia with joy and outright bliss. Bliss is where it's at, baby. Let's not settle for less. So now, as we shift gears and welcome our honored guest presenter for today, let us give thanks for all of the blessings in the preceding days and all of the blessings yet to come, for they are many. Glory, hallelujah to the highest. Peace on earth, goodwill to all. Thank you for being here with our love always and forever. And then I started hearing Rejoice, Rejoice, Emmanuel, the song. And then Kool and the Gang came in singing, Celebrate Good Times, come on. Oh, so namaste, dear children. Thank you for being here and welcome Dr. Elena back to the screen.
I love it. I love it. Kool and the Gang used to be one of the favorite groups that I used to listen to. I love that song.
Yeah, it's so appropriate, celebrating 11 days of people showing up, bringing the love.
Well, and not only are they showing up for themselves, they're showing up for the planet.
Yeah.
And that's a huge, huge undertaking. So that's awesome. Plus, we're showing up for the animals because they need our protection and our love as well in healing. So
yeah, and they give back more than give back.
Absolutely.
So what would you like to share with us today?
Well, part of it was, I originally was going to use my drum, but there's like way too many people out here.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of windy and I need to hold the tripod, so I can't drum and hold the tripod at the same time. But one of the things that they wanted to bring up first and foremost, and I think it partly goes to what I'm putting on the pillars themselves, because they keep showing literally people going within themselves into their own heart space and pulling out the love that they're receiving from their angels and guides, because we don't want people to use their own energy, because that will deplete you. So you bring the energy down from the creator into your heart space, and then literally what I could see was reaching in and pulling it out and sending it to the earth and to the other people on the planet. And then they brought in very strongly, and it's something that came up with my coach. She put in our group the other day, if you had a superpower song, what would your superpower song be for your business? And I didn't even have to think about it, because it's something I say all the time in my videos, and it's something I say when I write an article for Medium or do anything. I always say walk in beauty. Well, the original walk in beauty is part of the Navajo blessing ceremony. And they have a very long thing that they say at the end of it. It is walk in beauty. But what brought it to mind for me very strongly is Brooke Medicine Eagle has a song called Walk in Beauty. And it's something that I've been stressing on this On the Road Again tour that I'm doing. What is Walk in Beauty? Let me see if I can get the song in my head. It's like walk in beauty. There's love all around you. Walk in beauty. You are love. Walk in beauty. Be the beauty that you see. Be the beauty that you wish to see. Because it's about walking the path before us in beauty. So it's the beauty way. It's beauty before you, beauty behind you, it's beauty to the right, beauty to the left, beauty above, and beauty below you. And when you walk in the state of beauty, which is what love is, then nothing can touch you. So when you go into that heart space and you pull that love from spirit out of you and send it, you're doing it from a sacred vessel. And you're basically blessing the earth, you're blessing the animals, you're blessing the people around you. So always remember to walk in beauty.
I love that. And so it's a song that she's written. They can go look that up.
It's actually, you can find it on YouTube. I actually have the album in my car, or the CD, or whatever you want to call it. And she starts it drumming, but it's called Walk in Beauty, and it's like walk in beauty. I'm not going to sing it because it'll scare everybody. Mainly because right off the top of my head, but it's because you're basically visualizing the love around you. You're visualizing yourself in love. You're visualizing you as love. And of course, when you listen to it with the drumming, it just really makes it anchor in. So that's part of what I would consider my theme song, even for my business, because it's one thing that I'm very passionate about is everybody walking in beauty, everybody walking in love, because that's where we come from. That's who we are. That's who the animals are. That's who the plants and the trees. It all comes from love. And when you walk in that state of love, darkness can't touch you.
It's like you're a lighthouse beacon, and it's just emanating off of you.
Absolutely. Then I can guarantee you it does not mean that they won't try, because on my journey, we know, we have talked, something tried to eradicate me off the planet out in Black Mesa. It didn't work because I am so protected by the light, the love, and the angels. But it doesn't mean they might not try. So that's why it's so very important. And I tell people in these videos that I'm doing is please stay very, very grounded. But
And what would you recommend to them to do that?
I visualize when I talk to people about grounding, I literally visualize a root from a tree trunk, like a very large one, just coming from your root chakra and literally going to the middle of the earth and anchoring in. Because that way, even though you're still up here, just like the giant sequoias, how tall they get, their root system goes deep, deep into the ground. So they're anchored to Mother Earth, but they still get the love and the light from the heavens. And that's basically what you're doing. And that's what these pillars of light that I work with do. When you put them down, you anchor them deep within the earth, but they go all the way up to heaven, and they look like a Lemurian, the Lemurian crystals, where you have a heavy bottom on them and then the point on the top.
Yeah.
That's what these pillars of light are. They're just very, very big ones. And it anchors into the earth and it goes all the way up to heaven. And then they're inscribed with the words that Spirit has given us. But it really is about walking the path of beauty. The beauty way is what the Navajo call it.
Yeah, just more love. And if my business had a theme song right now, I think it would be "What the World Needs Now is Love, Sweet Love." And I think that was written by the Bee Gees, who I just love. So that makes it even sweeter.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Angie. You're doing research on the Akashic records just for fun. Oh, bless you. Do more of it, because they're just the most amazing thing. And it's a journey to getting to know yourself better. That's the beauty of it. So besides doing the pillars, you do your animal communication work, you do your shamanic journeys, you do past life regressions. What are some other assignments you've been carrying out during your life? Because I know you've done other things. Tell us about that experience you had at the mountain where you were the key, because that's an interesting story.
Oh, wasn't that cool?
Yeah.
Well, I was living in Phoenix at the time. And I don't know if it was in a meditation or a dream, but one day they came in and they said I was the key. That's all they said. And I was like, well, what the frick does that mean? And it didn't matter how many times I asked. It didn't matter how many times I begged. Didn't matter how many times I yelled at them, to say, what the heck does it mean? And it literally, I think it was like a few years. And they kept saying, you need to go down and visit Tucson. You need to go down and visit Tucson. I'm like, yeah. It's too far to drive. It's like not even 90 minutes, but it was like, yeah, whatever. And so one day they told me I needed to go to Tucson and I needed to go up the mountain. And I was like, I don't even know how to get to the mountain. So what? And I mean, I literally, when I drove down there, because I finally just got tired of hearing them say it, I drove right to it. I didn't have to even GPS it. I just drove right to it. They're like, pull off the side of the road. I said, I thought you wanted me up the mountain. They're like, pull off the side of the road. Okay. And they're like, turn the car off. And they're like, shut your eyes. And I did. And I immediately turned into this huge, big golden key, and a keyhole opened up into the mountain, and I went right into it, turned the key, and all this green beautiful energy started flowing out of the mountain and across Tucson. And they're like, see, we told you, you were the key. And I was like, wow. I mean, it was, and then several years later, of course, I moved to Tucson in 20, because I left, you know, I didn't know I was supposed to stick around and do anything. I went back to Phoenix. And then I ended up living in Tucson for like three years, from 2021 until last August. But yeah, I literally was the key that they needed to put into the mountain to turn it so that the love energy and the healing energy could come out and go across Tucson.
And who knew you were preparing it for when you would live there?
Exactly.
I love how they work these things out.
I know, but they would not tell me for nothing. It was like, what does that mean? And I would ask my friends, my other psychic friends, and my medium friend, and she goes, I don't know. She goes, I just keep hearing the same thing. You're the key. And I said, the key to what? Now we know it was actually to open up the mountain. And it was interesting that the apartment that I lived in was right across the street from that mountain.
No coincidences.
Yeah.
All connected. Yeah. I'm just always astounded when you have these stories of these grand adventures that the angels ask you to go on. And I wish you would put them in a book and share them, because other people need to know there are folks like you out there performing these services on behalf of humanity, and we don't have a clue.
Well, that's just it. I am working on several books, but I get stuck because to me, it's like, oh, well, that was just a thing I did, you know? It's just like, you know, like even when I met Bearheart the first Bearheart, I was hiking down M Mountain in Rapid City with a friend. And I had Merlin at the time and Medicine Bear. And we were coming down off the mountain after hiking, and I heard this very loud masculine voice, and he goes, "It is I, Bearheart." And I'm like, looking around like, okay, who the heck was that? And what do I care who you are, you know? And continued walking because I didn't get any response from my friends. So we continued walking down the mountain, and again, big booming masculine voice, and he goes, "I said it is I, Bearheart." And this time I looked at my friend. I said, "Did you just hear that voice say it is I, Bearheart?" She's looking at me like, "What the heck are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Some shaman you are if you can't hear that." Because I mean, it was so loud. And then it turned out later that it was Bearheart, the cat. I mean, and he explained even when he passed away, he came back to thank me for being his mom, or as he put it, "Thank you for being my mommy in this life." He goes, "I can't believe how much I learned just in the 3.5 years that I was here," because his soul had been in Atlantis. And he worked in the department that used crystals. Well, apparently he had some enemies or people that he did not like, and he was putting spells into the crystals to kill them. So when he came back and worked with me, he actually learned how to use crystals to heal himself, because somebody in the trailer park was trying to poison all the cats and dogs to get rid of them. And he was unfortunately one of the ones that got some on him. And I looked up what I could use possibly if I had them. And because I make jewelry, I have all kinds of different gemstones. Green aventurine works great for healing animals that have been poisoned. And I gave him a whole pile of them. And I said, "Do whatever I said, you know what you're supposed to do with them." And he literally put him in a circle, or, and he put his body in there, and he was laid in there for like 2 days, did not leave. On the third day, he finally got up and he actually went to go to the bathroom, and he came back. He rearranged the crystals a different direction. He laid back in them again. And after 24 hours, he got up. He actually came over and drank some water, ate a little bit of food, and he never touched the crystals again. And he was fine. So when he died, he actually died of throat and mouth issues. And I said, see, that'll teach you to use your voice for bad, because the karma got paid back to him as a cat, where he didn't last very long because he had to pay that karma back for killing all those people. So now he's back as the black cat, and he just turned 8, and which is here a lot longer than he was the first time. But he's, the soul that's in the cat itself is an extremely intelligent old soul.
A perfect companion for your travels and adventures. That's so awesome. Yeah. There was another story I remember you told, something about being on this mountain. You were told to go up this mountain and there were rocks coming and an umbrella. You were with a friend. You were told to go up this mountain, and I don't know, it was like a rock slide, something really wacky that happened.
It was, yeah. I was told I needed to go up 4 Peaks, which is outside of Fountain Hills, Arizona. And I had taken this friend. We had gone up there hiking before, because there was a rock up there. I got several pictures of her, and I still have them, where she was standing in front of it doing that, because it literally looked like a man's you-know-whats. So when I said I needed somebody to come up with me, I figured, I'm like, oh, maybe I need protection or something, maybe because there's lions and bears up there too. So I was like, so she agreed to come with me. I'm going to have to try to make it to the car because I have a low battery.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and walk and still see you guys at the same time. So she agreed to come with me. Well, the day we decided to head up the mountain, it was sprinkling where we were at. And I tried to talk her out of going. I'm always trying to talk somebody out of something, especially if I think I'm the one who's going to get walloped or something. And she goes, oh, no. She says, we're going to be fine. It's just sprinkles here and there. So I'm like, okay, fine. So we drove out, I drove out to 4 Peaks because we took my car. And by the time we got out to 4 Peaks, of course, it was a little bit higher elevation. It was starting to rain a little bit harder. But yet there were people out there, people coming up the mountain, people, there were cars out there, people walking up and down. And she's like, no, let's go. We're here for a reason. We need to do it. And, whoa, this is not good.
Are you locked out of your car?
This might not be my car. Hold on. Yeah, it is. Somebody somehow opened up the hood to my car.
You think Bearheart did that? That's wacky.
Yeah. Well, I need to look at that before I leave. That's for sure. Bearheart, I hear you. No, because you would have to pull a button. Not, it's not like the trunk where you just push a button. So anyway, I'll have to look at that, see who's been messing with my car. So I'm telling you, those dark forces, they are out there. So anyway, we started walking up the mountain. I'm trying to get my phone plugged in before it dies. And of course, it started raining a little bit harder. And Spirit kept telling me we needed to continue. And I'm like, I told Shannon, I said, you ask your guides. I said, because if they have a different answer, we're going with what yours says. and so of course she asked her guides, and her guides said the same thing. We needed to continue going up the mountain. I was like, crap. Okay. And we got barely out of the area that we were in. And I mean, you talk about gale force winds, and then the hail started and the rain. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, what the heck? I said, we need to go back. And she goes, no, they're saying we need to continue on. And I was hearing the same thing. You need to continue. And so we continued up the mountain. And then, of course, the wind was so strong, it literally did blow my umbrella inside out. I'm like, so much for that. It's like, so of course I was like soaking wet. And I had put the blanket around Shannon because she's a little tiny thing, you know, she's like a fairy kind of energy. And kept going up almost to the top of the mountain. And all of a sudden I heard very loud and clear, when we say jump, we mean jump. Push, Shannon, and jump. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, because I have a hard time sometimes always doing what Spirit asks. I question all the time. And then all of a sudden they're like, now jump. And I pushed her. I had warned her ahead of time that, you know, when they say push or, you know, jump and push, I was going to push her. And right where I had been standing, a bolt of lightning hit.
Oh my gosh.
Which kind of like freaked me out because it made a lot of noise when it hit the ground. And I turned around to make sure Shannon was okay. And I'm like, where the hell did Shannon go? What? I mean, she was flat on the ground under the blanket that I had put around her, and she had a perfect circle of light surrounding her, protecting her.
Wow.
And and Shannon looked at me, I looked, and we're like, what the heck? And I'm like, can we come down now? And they're like, yes. It took us 2.5 hours to hike up that far. We were down in 20 minutes because I said, I want angel wings on right now. You get us off this mountain. We were jumping over huge piles of water, down trees. Neither one of us slipped. I mean, we were down in 20 minutes. And when we left, we couldn't go back the same way we came in because it was flooded. So we went out the other way and the long way around. I stopped the car so we could look back at where we were at. You could not even see Four Peaks. The black cloud was down so far over the mountain. So we finally made it home safely. The next day, Serge called, wanted to know how my weekend went. I said, oh, we went hiking 4 Peaks yesterday. And he was like, in weather like this? Because it was still kind of rainy and icky. And I said, oh, hell no, it was much worse. And I told him what happened. And he goes, oh, my God, they put you through the 4 elements initiation. And then he's listening. He goes, and you passed the first time. He goes, when they put me through it, it took me 4 times before I could get through it and pass. And I was like, well, see. But I ended up losing a friend out of it because it scared her so much that she didn't want anything to do with me anymore.
It's tough being a shaman.
Yes, it is. And we are, that's why, people that go to these weekend retreats and come back saying, I'm a shaman. I'm like, did you go through an initiation? Because I've been one for many, many, many lifetimes, but still, as you grow and get stronger, they still put you through other initiations to make sure you're still following the path.
Well, especially with the ones like you who always argue, right?
Yeah.
It's so cool. Bear Heart keeps popping in over your shoulder. He wants to be in the picture.
Yeah. He's like, here, maybe if I move over here. Yeah, I was doing the video the other day and he grabbed the camera and pulled it toward him. And I'm like, honey, if you put your face that close to the camera, they can't really see you. But yeah, he's something outside has gotten his attention. Oh, there's people walking behind me.
So, we've been enjoying the stories, but was there a meditation or a prayer or something that you wanted to do? Because I don't want to wrap up without doing that. I know we can't do the drums today, but I didn't know if you had something else in mind.
No. It's more of what I really want everybody to do and to focus on is going into that heart space, to really anchor themselves in their heart, that love space of what they are and who they are.
Can you do a little short version of that so that they know what you're talking about?
Let me hold on. It's really kind of hard to function in a car.
It's a challenge.
Just a little bit. See, and then the wind's picking up. I'm glad I'm in here. Let me see here. I'm trying to. So, oh, hey, see, now you see another planet. Woohoo! Oh, so how about if we just do just like a short meditation of going in. Let me see what they want. Because they really want people to get the concept of this walking in beauty. They're really stressing that. So how about, I know I don't have my drum to drum people down. So how about if we just close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, relax your muscles in your body. Take another deep breath and just feel the cares and the worries of the day release from you, out of your root, out of your chakras in your hands and out of your feet. Send it down into Mother Earth and allow her to repurpose it as you relax even deeper and deeper. Go into your heart, into the soul, and visualize yourself as this very brilliant light being. You emanating the love from your body everywhere. The path before you is a path of beauty. There is love surrounding you. You are love. Everything you touch turns to light. Where there was darkness, it is now light. Your words that are spoken come out in a melodic lightness. And you can see the animals around you reacting to the love that you are sending on this sacred walk that you're taking. Your guides are with you. And as you look at the animals, as you walk past them, you can see their guides. And they're smiling and they're nodding at you because they know that you are in touch with your essence, with that light body, with the love essence of who you are. And they thank you for walking the path of beauty. They thank you for taking your time to acknowledge that you are one with the universe. You are one with the trees, the plants, and that we are all connected. Mitakuwe Oyasi, it's what it means. It is, we are all related. And it's something that they want you to remember, that you are never alone. You are full of love. You are love. And they just want you to sit in this energy for a few minutes, appreciating and sending love to yourself and to those around you and to Mother Earth. And then when you feel ready, thank everyone for showing their being there for you. And then just gradually come back into your heart center and make that promise to yourself that you will visit that heart center at least once a day to connect with all that is. Walk in beauty and love for all. Aho, mitakuwe oyasi echituilo. We are all related, and so it is.
Thank you. That was so beautiful and just perfect. And thank you, Michael, for calming the wind so that we could do this.
Well, it helps being in the car.
Yeah, but I can still hear it out there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he did it for you. That's awesome. So if anybody in chat wants to post a message about your experience, any questions for Dr. Elena, now would be a great time for that before we move on to our special presenter at the end.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, another mind blower. Perfect. This whole thing has been one mind blowing experience after another.
I'll bet. Yeah.
I think you blissed them all out.
I know. I was getting my eyes were starting to close. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I like this.
It's a great reminder, though. It's such a simple thing that we can do to bring the love and the attention, the intention. And yet we forget, we get busy with our daily things. And it would be a wonderful thing to do when you wake up in the morning before you start your day, to start the day in the most beautiful way. Mm-hmm. Marby says thank you. Sonia says thank you. You probably can't see the comments there.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. They'll be on the video so you can read them. Okay. Denise is asking if you could do a clearing for her.
Absolutely.
Linda says thank you.
Is there any specific thing that she wants cleared, or just a clearing for the whole group, maybe?
Maybe a general for everybody, because that way it helps everyone.
Okay. So Normally, of course, when I do clearings with people, I have my sage and all that good stuff, which is all in the trunk. But since we're going to do it energetically, again, use it as a visualization. You can visualize, first of all, let me call in everybody's guides, angels, masters, totems. And we're going to ask that, especially since I know this is energetically, so that there's really no smoke that's going to bother anybody. But some people are more drawn to sage, other people are drawn to Palo Santo. So whichever element that, as a clearing tool, that works best for you, visualize that going over your body. Visualize it actually going through your auric field. As it cleans and clears. Michael also is coming in because he said some of you have cords that need to be detached. So you visualize a cord coming down the front of you, down behind you, to the right of you, to the left of you, under your feet, and over your head. Cords of love can never be removed, so you know that's not going to do anything. But all cords that are there from the dark or negative energies are being removed. He's also spraying a mist over everybody. Oh, holy water. Got it. Okay. So he's spraying a mist of holy water over everyone. And he's also going now, he's going down through everybody's chakras. Now the top chakras, these here, you really don't have much that will interfere with them. They're always protected by spirit. So like even when, and that's one of the things he also wants to mention, is a zip up. It's something Serge taught me years ago, especially if you go into places like Walmart, grocery stores, or anything like that. You always want to take your hands at your root chakra and zip up to the bottom of your lip, because that way it protects your chakras from anybody. I don't know if anybody has experienced this. I have several times where people will attach a very big, strong cord to you and suck your energy out. So the zip up will help protect your energy. But right now, he's going through and clearing everybody's chakras. Now, I have an etheric vacuum cleaner that if I do it from here, I use a vacuum cleaner. It goes in and sucks out all the negative energy. If you're doing it yourself, do it in the shower and then open up those chakras counterclockwise and then just visualize again, pulling out the negative gunky energy and then letting the water in the shower wash it down the drain and then close the chakras back down clockwise so that you can go up in and about your day. So, realize, are there any entities that anybody has? No. Oh, the cord's gone. Yes. Okay, if everybody's getting I'm getting a strong yes that everybody is clear and the cords that were there have been removed.
Awesome. And
this will go for those that watch the replay as well. not just for the people that are here watching it live. So if you go back and watch the replay again, if you need feel like you need another clearing, but yeah, it's a strong suggestion, especially with the zip up when you go. My most problem has been sometimes at work or Walmart, and a lot of people attach cords not realizing it because they're in grief or something really bad just happened. They got really bad news and they hug you and they immediately attach a cord and they suck all your energy out to fill themselves back up. Unfortunately, it leaves you depleted. And so you have to make sure those cords get cut and removed and then bring the energy back in. But I've noticed it happens at Walmart too. so, and I can always tell if I go in and I forget to do the zip up, I won't be halfway through and I'm like, oh my God, you just get so exhausted because as a light worker, people can sense that energy in you and they are automatically attracted to you. So they will pull your energy if they feel depleted. So just kind of be aware of that.
Thank you. That was awesome. You got some comments here I want to share with you. Somebody whose name is Serge Eugene. Goosebumps, right? Holy Spirit, holy, holy, holy blessings to all of you, sending unconditional love, sending divine love, sending agape love to you all, holy family and friends. And then there's a whole bunch of little emojis. So Serge was your mentor, and I just think, oh my gosh, what a blessing. Somebody shows up with that name.
Yeah, exactly.
You have no idea what you did, Serge. Jennifer says, hi, everyone. I send love and light to the globe every day, and I ask that we all come to know the truth, and may the truth set us free. Amen. Thank you, Jennifer. Let's see if we have more over here. Yes. Phyllis asks, do we need to zip down when we feel safe?
No, the way when I do the zip ups, it's like it once you're out of that environment, it automatically just reverts to normal. It's just you need to zip them up when you're going out and about, especially if you know you're going to be around negative people, because it helps protect. But it's like almost an automatic thing. Once you're out of that environment, they go back to normal anyway.
And Denise sends blessings and thank you. The ladies in the community, we're so glad that you could be with us, Denise. Thank you. And for asking for that wonderful clearing, because I know it blessed a lot of people. Lauren says, thank you, Michael and Elena. Serge says, wow, thanks. And Marvy gave you a bunch of thanking hands. And thank you from Phyllis. That's so awesome. Thank you guys for commenting. So I think we're going to pause here because I want to get that special guest. And then before we wrap, we're going to have a little more to talk about. Because I would like you to tell people what the medicine wheel is in case they don't know. So I think we'll do that at the very end. Awesome. So now this was really, really weird. When I finished Metatron's message, I said, okay, who is going to bring the special message at the end? And I heard Beethoven, and I'm like, Beethoven? For Elena, I'm not making the connection. And then I said, do you mean Beethoven the composer? No.
The dog.
Beethoven the dog. And if you don't know, Beethoven was a movie, and the dog's name was Beethoven. It was a St. Bernard, a 200-pound St. Bernard, all drooly. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess that kind of makes some sense that it's Beethoven. And I'm hearing the barking dogs doing the Blue Danube. I don't know if you've ever heard that recording, but the dogs bark to the tune of the Blue Danube waltz. So that was kind of funny. But then after that, I heard Claire de Lune. Claire de Lune is by Debussy, famous composer. It is, some people have described it as the most beautiful piece of music ever written. It's the first piece of music that was ever recorded, and it's from a poem by this French guy. It is basically an ode to the moon, and it's about the soul journey. I'm like, oh my God, can it get any more perfect for what we're doing? With the pink moon coming tonight, Elena being here, what we're doing with these energies, there are just no words. It's just so phenomenal. So I can't play the music for you because of copyright issues, but let me type the name of it here in chat so that you can go listen to it later because, oh, it is beautiful. It really is. And you might want to go listen to the barking dogs doing the blue too. Why not? Because it was just, we're bringing fun and we're bringing spirit and uplifting energies, just all. So, let's see, did I miss anything? So, when I listened to the song, my impression was that it felt like an angel symphony of love. It was exquisitely beautiful, the kind of moment that makes you catch your breath because it's just so deep and intense. And it might even bring a tear to your eye. I mean, it's that potent. So it's like, what a beautiful, heartfelt way to draw a love stream to a close, leaving me gobsmacked again at the attention to detail and the big love that comes from our angels every single day. So, and the other thing about Claire de Lune, it's got this evocative, introspective nature, very often used for meditation and self-reflection. Again, all the pieces, right? It's got a calming melody, gentle rhythms that creates that peace and introspective energy, allowing you as the listener to connect with your inner emotions, to explore your thoughts. And some people interpret it as a journey through personal emotion, journey of self-discovery. So at that moment, my husband decided to get up and make some disturbance, which I was not happy about because I'm right in the middle of my meditation. So after that was taken care of, we got back to it. And Beethoven came on down to have a conversation. So from Beethoven to all of us, I wish to express to you our perspective. Being quite sensitive to energy, it has been an extreme challenge for us to experience the dark energy swirling about the planet, going so against the grain of our natural state of being. It has been a struggle. Our hearts ache for our human friends, also struggling to do their best to maneuver through the heavy, dark energy. We would surely chase it away if we could, but that is not within our purview. Instead, we snuggle up to you and give you extra love in an effort to soothe your jangled nerves and troubled psyche. We do not have the powers the angels possess to help you at a deeper level. Instead, we do what we can, hoping that it makes a difference, hoping that you can feel our love and appreciation for all that you do for us. Of course, I'm mainly speaking about domesticated animals, but even the wild creatures have appreciation for kindnesses and gifts that have been given. The bees are struggling mightily, and we ask you to please do whatever you can to protect and safeguard their well-being, for the entire planet relies upon them. We're not ready to exit the planet now any more than you are. We look forward to many happy years together, and we look forward to the earth healing and providing even more abundance to nourish all of the life forms that abide here. You see, the picture is so much more expansive than just one little corner of the world. We're talking planetary-wide basis here. That is what we ask you to consider. What might you do for the planet to help her heal and rebound so that she might more fully live her purpose of supporting all of the life that she has traditionally supported? It doesn't take so very much effort to help her. She will more than meet you, and then we will all benefit. It has brought us a great deal of hope and joy, seeing you come together for the higher purpose of all life. We are profoundly moved by your love and care. We look forward to the day when it encompasses the planet, bringing joy, peace, and love to all, so that oneness might rule the day, blessing everyone, providing expansive opportunity for all, enveloping the planet in a deep well of well-being. The energy of renewal, excitement, and anticipation for the opportunities yet to come. It makes us so excited, sometimes we squeal with delight. Like you, we have made many return trips to the planet. Each time it is a challenge. However, this time is the greatest challenge we've ever experienced. Some days we feel your depth of sorrow as you fall into fear and doubt that your efforts might be for naught. We want you to understand no efforts are for naught. When you approach the situation with love, patience, positive intentions, everything will work out for the most beneficent outcome in divine timing. And that's the kicker. We always want it sooner, but sometimes it's necessary to wait and allow situations to develop before they reach the level of maturity from which to gain higher wisdom and insights. And then the dogs came in barking the Blue Danube again. When the song finished, Beethoven resumed. That's it. We just thought we'd take us out with a song. Thank you for listening. We hope you take our words to heart, and we look forward to being by your side through the trials and tribulations and into the celebrations when you at last manifest Earthtopia and we all go together with much love from our hearts to yours. So long. Farewell. That's the end. And the funny thing, I looked it up. The dog, the actor Beethoven, his real name is Chris, or was Chris. He died in 2001. So it was another spirit message. How amazing is that?
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, I thought you would appreciate the fact that the dogs came. And of course, representing all the animals, not just.
Absolutely. Although Beethoven himself, I could see why he would show up too, because I used to play the piano. So his was one of the songs that I always used to have to play during practice and stuff.
A Beethoven song?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
I can't remember the name of it now, but my mom used to make us practice, especially because most of his songs were so hard to play, but it had, whoa, that's a lot of dirt flying around. Ugh, I'm glad I'm not sitting outside right now.
Yeah, good thing you came in.
Yeah,
Was it Ode to Joy? Because that would be an easier one to play.
I can't remember. I mean, there were several of them because we had to play Beethoven songs, Tchaikovsky songs, and that was part of our actual practice that we had to play before I could play the pop songs that I loved to play and sing to. They were. I know one of them was the Fifth Symphony? I can't remember what they were anymore. I mean, my mom still had all our books and everything, but I'm sure they got thrown away after she passed away.
Yeah. I never knew you played piano, so that's something else new I've just learned about you.
Oh, piano and the trumpet. Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. Very good at it.
To Jennifer that she wished that they could play that frequently, and I think she's talking about what the world needs now is love. She's pointing out to me it was Burt Bacharach and Hal David, not the Bee Gees.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was earlier than that.
Yeah, it was some other song they wrote for her. Oh, Heartbreaker. That's what it was. The Bee Gees did Heartbreaker. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Okay, so Kelly says, may love become the normal around the world. No more evil actions. Amen. That is what we are working towards, and we will get there. It's just going to take some time. So if you have any other questions or comments, pop them in. I'm going to ask Dr. Elena if she will share with us about the medicine wheel.
The beautiful medicine wheel. I love the medicine wheel. I do a lot of healings through the that was actually my dissertation when I got my doctorate degree, was healing from a Native American perspective using the medicine wheel, because it's very powerful. And right now I'm kind of like combining the North American medicine wheel with the South American medicine wheel. The animals are a little bit different, but they basically do the same thing. So when you work in the medicine wheel, so like in this lifetime, I sit in the South on the medicine wheel. Everybody usually comes in a different direction. So in this lifetime, I came in to heal a lot of emotional stuff. A lot of emotional stuff that I went through. It was like, oh my God, one thing after another. So I sit in the South of the medicine wheel, which of course is where the coyote sits. Hello. Turn little wily coyote. Because the coyote is all about learning to laugh at yourself, not taking yourself so seriously. But it's also about being aware that there are those out there that are not necessarily working in your highest and best interest. So the coyote kind of works with two different messages. But each section, like if you're sitting in the East in the medicine wheel, it's about bringing in new beginnings, new ideas, new healing, new information. Like if you want to write a book, one of the best places to sit is in the East in the medicine wheel, because it'll help download all that new information. The eagle sits in the East of the medicine wheel. That's the spirit animal that works in the East. The coyote, of course, is in the South. In the West, you have the bear. So whenever you're working on inner healing and you want to go within, because a bear's about hibernation. But when you're sitting in the West, you want to go within, because we do have all the answers within us. We think all the answers are out there. So we're constantly asking everybody else, should we do this? Should we? I'm very notorious for that, because we don't sit still long enough to hear what our own soul is trying to tell us. And that's what the West is about. And then up in the North, you have the buffalo. And the buffalo's energy, of course, is about abundance. Because if you look at the way the natives treated the buffalo, when they went on a hunt, they only took what they needed to feed the village. And they used every ounce of that buffalo. Nothing was wasted. They used the skins for clothes. They used the skins for their teepees, their moccasins. They would even use like the gallbladder, those kind of, as to carry water in and stuff, because they're rather large. And once they're cleaned out, you can actually carry water in them. It was amazing what they would, use, down to the bones. They would carve them and shape them into utensils so that they could eat. So, and the fat was used for cooking and keeping their skin clean, their hair clean and stuff like that. So it was, to the Native American, the buffalo is all about abundance. It's like, but also the ancestors sit in the North. So like for me, I sit in the South. So if I'm not getting the answers I'm looking for in the South, I look to the North, because it's sitting right in front of me. And I go to the ancestors. I go to the buffalo. What is it that I'm needing? What am I not seeing? Who can answer the questions that I have? And then, of course, if you're sitting in the East, you would go to the West and vice versa. Or if you're in the North, you would look to the South. But in between each of those, there's crystals that go from the outer edge of the wheel to the center, because we sit in the center of the wheel. And then the spokes go out. And then, of course, you have the southwest, the northwest, the southeast, and the northeast. And each one has a flower, has a crystal. I mean, it's a whole, there's so much healing that you can do within that medicine wheel. And the South American wheel is similar. It just uses the jaguar, the hummingbird, the snake, and the condor. The condor sits in the east with where the eagle sits. So you have different animals, but they primarily do the same thing. But pretty much any kind of healing that is needed, you can find within that medicine wheel.
So how do you know where you sit in the medicine wheel?
I just knew from the very beginning that I was here to heal a ton of emotional things. And then, of course, Serge was like, well, duh, that's because you sit in the south. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So he basically was the one who kind of let me know that, and that was one of the things, like, even before he ordained us in his ministry, you had to know which direction of the medicine wheel that you came into this life to work on, and then who the opposite direction was.
So is that a reading that you do?
I've actually never done a reading. It's like most people have a sense. I mean, if you're like, for me, like I said, I knew I had a lot of emotional things that had to be, from being taken away or stolen or whatever really happened, to not grow up with my biological parents, to all the emotional crap and the physical and everything else that happened with the family I did grow up with. There was a lot of healing that had to happen. Now, a lot of times people come in where they know that they just need help with, maybe they've had a reading or a past life reading, or they're like, oh my God, I had such horrendous luck with any kind of abundance. So when you come into this lifetime, you're more than likely going to be born or come into to work in the north, so that you can learn the lessons of the buffalo, learn the lessons of the north, work with the ancestors. But then you're also looking at the south, because that's where you look at. So who are you looking at? You're looking at the coyote, who is the trickster. So how are you tricking yourself about your abundance? Are you lying to yourself? So it depends on what you're actually, if kind of like that you're here to invent things, then you more than likely are sitting in the east of the medicine wheel, because it's all about invention, new things, new ideas, new projects.
Yeah. Do you have a class that you teach on medicine wheel for people who want to know more?
I'm trying. That was one of the things I was trying to put together, but unfortunately, I had left all my stuff in storage, so I didn't have it. So.
But now you do. So anybody who's here that wants to learn about medicine wheel, they can subscribe to your YouTube channel and let you know that.
Mm-hmm. I actually have some stuff, I believe, on the YouTube channel already about the medicine wheel. I think there was like part 1, 2, 3, and 4. I did them years ago, but I do believe they're still up there, which will give you some idea of what the wheel is about, why the colors. And that was a funny story too, because I've always asked Spirit these questions, because it makes you think, well, just because Black Elk had a vision that the medicine wheel should be certain colors, why are man labeled as black, white, yellow, and red? Because I don't see Native Americans as red. My skin isn't red, it's brown. And it's like Asian people aren't yellow. So why these colors? And it was hilarious what Spirit came back with me on. And it was basically like God had clay figures sitting on a palette that he was creating when they were creating man and women. And he had a bunch of paint in front of him. And I don't know whether he tripped, what happened, but the paint went flying. And after he was like, uh-oh. And he looked at the figures, and the paint off this palette that he had gone on to the clay figures and soaked in. One was red, one was black, one was yellow, and one was white. And he's like, the 4 colors of man. And then he looked at me, he goes, so be very thankful those were the colors that hit those clay figures, because I also had purple polka dot, green polka dot, blue polka dot, and orange polka dot on there. He goes, and you could have ended up one of those colors. Then what would you have done? And I'm like, okay, I won't complain about being called a red band. But I mean, it's just, it's a way to lighten up the on how people get so stuck.
Yeah.
On color. It doesn't matter, because we were all created equally. We're all the same. Who cares what color the skin is? Because that's not what you should be looking at. If you're a being of love, you need to be looking with your heart into the other person's heart.
Yeah. We're all same underneath the skin suit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Sonia just red, yellow, black, and white. Jesus loves all the children of the world.
Exactly. I love that song. We used to sing that all the time as kids in Sunday school.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah. So we are already over the time we normally take for this, and I know you've got things to do. You've got a busy schedule there. So before we wrap, is there anything that you would like to leave closing thoughts?
Pretty much, it's just people need to stay positive. People really need to get back in touch with themselves and the Creator, and realize that we are all one. We are all here to help everybody. It's not a me situation. We're here for, how did I put it? It's collaboration and connection.
Yeah.
So when you see somebody that needs help, like I went in to buy something yesterday, and this old man had come in the store, and he just wanted to talk. So I stood there and I listened to him. And he was just so excited because he was a veteran. And he was talking about, how he was lucky because where he lived was like right across from the Walmart, and the Veterans Hospital was right on the corner, and his other doctor was right on the corner. So he had everything he needed right in his worn little spot. I have no idea who the guy was, but he wanted to talk. And I took time out of my day to stand there and listen to him and to thank him for his service. So, I mean, that's what it is about. It's about collaboration, connection, loving everybody as you would want them to love you.
Yeah. As Barbara Streisand said, people who need people are the luckiest people in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love all these.
You. Yes.
I love all these song references.
They just keep coming, It's amazing. Thank you so much for being here to bring LoveStream to a close. Would you like to offer a little blessing, maybe?
Okay, let's see what we have.
I love your blessings.
I never know what's going to pop out of my mouth sometimes. Interesting. So they're saying literally, as above, so below. As below, so above. You are in the middle of much love and wisdom. Pay attention, listen, and always make sure to follow through. Because as above, so below. What you wish for, you already have. Open your eyes. It is there. We give it to you with many, many love and blessing from above to down below. Oh my God, that's so funny. I don't know if that was supposed to be serious, but that was funny. Like I said, you never know what they're going to pop up with.
Well, maybe they just wanted to bring some levity back, so we're not too serious. That's probably what it's about.
Swimming in the sea. What are they saying? You're all fishes swimming in the sea of love.
That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, all of you, for being here. We so appreciate you. It has been a monumental experience having this love stream. We're so grateful for each of you showing up and for all those who will show up later in the replays and take a little piece of that love with them out into the world. As Metatron said, spread a positive infection. Let's do that as soon as possible. So, sharing love, peace, and oneness with the world, that is what we are about. Bring it, baby, bring it, because we need it as soon as possible. Thank you, Dr. Elena. Thank you, all of you. With much love today, tomorrow, and for always. Signing off on LoveStream. Bye, everybody. Mwah.
Bye, everyone.